I do believe it be that time. The stream is live. You are here at the best possible corner of the internet at this very time. I am thrilled to have you. Shout out John, Taylor, and Jake for being here in the chat before things even kicked off. Welcome to the party. It has been a hot minute since I've streamed. I did a stream before the end of last year, and then, of course, as you know, took a bunch of time off for some family stuff. And then, let's see, I did one other stream when the alpha for GenerateBlocks Pro 1.7 came out, and that was awesome. That one has been, I think, over 2 months from now. I think Jake pointed that out to me yesterday in a group chat. I was like, oh man, it's been too long. And I have some stuff that I wanted to work on my own website. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be using GenerateBlocks Pro 1.7, even though my site is a total and utter disaster, as is most of our own projects when it's not for clients. I thought, you know, why not get out there and use this thing live? See if I can make something interesting out of this. So we'll be building a page using the new GenerateBlocks Pro 1.7 global style system, which is really cool. And if you haven't seen it, it makes the classes interface available to you in the block editor, much more like a tool like Oxygen or Bricks. So you have a fully featured class system. There's a lot to cover, and I've made, you know, a live stream on my channel. I'm also making videos on the Generate channel these days, so you can go check that out. And then the goal today is I'm going to build out this page that you'll see in a little bit, and update something on my website that looks absolutely terrible, but it sold really well. So turns out that you can have a crappy looking design and still sell a lot of copies of something, but I want to make it look much nicer and more presentable, and at the same time knock out the switching over this page to GenerateBlocks Pro. So really awesome. John says, I'm hoping he's going to make me a believer. Still a bricks guy at the moment. Yeah, I mean, with this version of GenerateBlocks and having the classes system that's very nearly as powerful, if not equally so, to a tool like Bricks and Oxygen, there's not a lot that would keep me, or, you know, if I was on the Bricks camp, I'd definitely be looking over the Generate fence, that's for sure. The thing is, like, with what you can do in GenerateBlocks now by itself as a standalone thing, even if you use Bricks, is really awesome, because you're probably still writing your blog post content and CPTs and things like that in the editor, not in Bricks, of course. And then with Taylor Drayson's sweet template tags, you basically can add dynamic data anywhere you want. Then, of course, in the block editor, you also have the block visibility plugin, which is conditions. They're just as powerful as Oxygen's used to be, which I've said many, many times was my favorite feature of Oxygen in particular. But, you know, now that block visibility plugin integrates with ACF and so many other conditions that you would want. So there's really not, I mean, feature parity is there. Like, it's just, it just is. People are going to bitch and moan about the block editor. Oh, blah, it's terrible, terrible. It's like, I mean, I'm not going to argue on behalf of Core, but what I am going to say is that GenerateBlocks makes the experience so much more enjoyable, so much more powerful, and I have lost no technical capability migrating from Oxygen to GenerateBlocks in terms of what I can do. That's specifically now down to the global classes existing, and then also the conditions, like I said, through block visibility. So next up, the next thing that I'm really hopeful for is in core WordPress. There is the partially synced patterns, which are essentially components. They call it some dumbass name now, like what is it called? I can't even remember because the name is stupid. Like pattern overrides is what it's called. And the idea is that you have a component and you can affect the design in the HTML, you know, from a single pane of glass, and then everywhere that component exists, you can change the content, swap out text and images and stuff. Then if you go back and reorder them, like let's say you swap the position of the headline and the text, then that reflects to all the components, but the content is still the same, which is going to be awesome. That currently only supports a couple of core blocks. I'm really hopeful that they extend that to include the third-party blocks like GenerateBlocks, because if that's true, the fact that GenerateBlocks now has fully featured classes through their global style system. Add that into the prospect of true components, and I mean, it would be such a killer feature. Right now, we're pretty close, but not being able to swap kind of the HTML structure of those components is currently not possible. So if you had a bunch of patterns that you added global classes to, and those exist all over your site, if you went and swapped the HTML order, that doesn't reflect. The styling would change, but not the HTML, which, you know, kind of the structure wouldn't change. Yeah, John says blog post is a good way to wade in. Where to get Taylor's template tags? Yeah, template tags are sweet. Taylor's website, snippetclub.com. Just search for template tags and you'll find it. It's pretty much the most badass way to interact with dynamic data in any kind of WordPress block editor based system. Whether you use GenerateBlocks, whether you use Core, Cadence, any of them, it's just simply the best. It allows you to bring in ACF field data, native WordPress functions, user metas, all kinds of stuff. It's insanely powerful. Really, really cool. So definitely check that out. So we are about quite a few, good 6 minutes in here. I've been rambling quite a bit. Anybody else that's watching, if you want to say hello in chat, that'd be sweet. We're going to jump in here in just a minute. So let me get myself situated on this side. And then I'll also pull up template tags so you can see. Let me actually make sure I have that installed on my site before we start. I believe I do. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. So I can show that to you, which will be perfecto. Okay. I am currently logged in, so I'm not going to show this whole thing here. Let me get rid of this. All right, perfect. So we'll go ahead and jump in. Let me switch my screeny weenie. All right, so shout at me if my photo or my picture here is blocking any of the screen. I positioned it right here and hope that I won't block any of the sidebars so you can see what we're doing, but you know how it goes. Sometimes we do. So this is the page that I'm going to be working on today. You're probably familiar with this if you're on my email newsletter, which by the way, you should sign up for. You can find the link to that in the footer of my website. That comes out every Wednesday morning. I share stuff that I find interesting in terms of stuff around WordPress, what I'm working on that week, random thoughts and diatribes that I have. Usually some good stuff in there. So far the streak is at 13 weeks, so I'm going to keep that going every Wednesday morning. Click the little newsletter sign up and join. So if you're on that newsletter, you obviously saw that the Dynamic Data Made Easy course that I created is fully done and available. And this is the crappy landing page that converted really well. So this was a case of done is better than perfect. So I slapped this together and you can see that it doesn't look good at all, but I've sold well over 200 copies of this course. So clearly there's a demand for this and an interest in it. And what I wanted to do is now just make it look a bit nicer because it does bother me despite the fact that it sold so well. I wanted to make it match the rest of the course landing pages. There's a pretty consistent theme between them in terms of sections and styling and stuff. So it's not really like anything revolutionary, but I thought it would be a great way for us to dive into the new global style system and then do something practical, kind of killing two birds with one stone, updating the styling of this page and showing you a real live look at GenerateBlocks. The other thing that I just mentioned was Taylor Drayson's template tags. So this is what I was just talking about. The idea is that you can take these little snippets that, you can take this little snippet here. Hopefully I'm not going to show something. Yeah, I deleted the code here so it wouldn't pop up because this is a premium snippet. So the idea is that you can take this little snippet and stick it anywhere in your page and pull in like an ACF field name from an options page. I forgot about that. You can do that. Pull in query parameters. That one is really dope because I use query params a lot, especially for conditions. And, there's just so many different use cases for query parameters. So you can pull those in with the template tags. So basically what you're doing is just saying like, if your ACF field name was like, status or something, you just type in field.status. And then on the front end, this is replaced with the value of that custom field, which is super cool. Highly recommend this. If you do anything with the block editor, you will not regret this. Definitely worth getting. Like I said, it is a premium snippet, but worth the worth it to get. So I'm going to be referencing this Figma update here. Again, like I said, this is nothing crazy, but there's going to be a good number of things that we can do with the global style system. Things like, these card layouts with shadows and the alignment of the numbers and the text and stuff. The interesting thing is that with GeneratePress as your theme, first of all, that's actually a good thing for me to touch on, is kind of the distinction right now as it exists between GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks. So Press is the theme, and that's going to handle things like currently your typography, colors, and kind of those from a global level. Then you also have the ability, let me actually just hop in here. So go to Appearance and Elements. This is where all of your templates are going to exist. So in this case, I'm actually using another one of Taylor's snippets here, the mega menu function that he created. So this is where those exist, but things like, my blog post singular template, my footer template, post archive template, the little top bar notice. If I go to the home page, you can see that this little top bar notice, that's actually a GeneratePress element. So I could just go straight to that just to give you an example. So I can actually build those elements just using GenerateBlocks components, as you can see. Then I can tell it where I want those to pop up. So that's essentially like your templating system in Bricks or Oxygen. Very, very similar and extremely powerful because we can combine these display rules. So you can put the element anywhere you want on any template and any page, any post. And then you also have the ability to combine a hook with it. So GeneratePress has tons of hooks. Yeah, okay, good. I'm not covering this. GeneratePress has tons of hooks. So like in this case, ooh, that is jacked up. I wonder if that's something to do with my typography. That's not normally how it looks. But you can see before header, after header, and then there's things like before main content, then there's like comments, sidebars, footer, like all these hooks exist for you to be able to kind of just drop stuff in there. And of course, you can create your own custom hooks as well. So in this case, this little top bar, I'm just using the hook before header, and that's how that ends up there. The other thing that I wanted to point out was this site that we're updating was built like 2 years ago, I think. So there's this kind of issue now when I'm trying to add in this latest version of GenerateBlocks because, of course, the old global style system is still going to be present. So it's a little bit clunky and I'll kind of be starting from nothing. Really what I should do is probably rebuild this site. Or maybe just migrate the legacy global styles to the new ones. I think that would be totally sufficient. No reason to really rebuild it. Taylor, rebuild, he says. Rebuild! You love rebuilding stuff. Speaking of which, have you rebuilt your personal site yet? I've been waiting, dude. I like to track you. Also, if you're watching, what you sipping on, drop that in chat. I got my little iced cortado here. Big fan, big fan. Coffee fuels me. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. So this particular page right here, pretty bog standard, nothing really too special. Just have this container for all of the content. Oh, I didn't know you were getting a new design. That's cool. Definitely, when you get that, I'd be interested to see it. You can see that this is just simple. This is what I already mentioned. It's like, this is one of those cases, the, done is better than perfect. And this got done, and it was extremely effective. And so now I want to make it look better. Hey Grant, welcome. Glad to have you. Generate fam. Let's go. So what I'm going to do is probably just leave all of this in place and then just do a new container and work on it from there. I think I'll probably just do this. So let's go add before. We're going to go container, pop that in. And this is the new GenerateBlocks global style system. You can see that on this site here, I've added one class, which I think actually was for the thumbnail for this particular stream. Yeah, I just did my custom class and there's absolutely nothing attached to it. But this is the new global style system. So just like you're probably familiar with in Oxygen or Bricks, and if you wrote CSS by hand, this is essentially just a CSS engine that you can do anything you want with. So I don't really have any convention. I have no framework. I have no real methodology to my website, obviously, like I said, because this was created well before this feature existed. So we're going to kind of cowboy code this, and there's probably going to be mistakes, probably going to be criticisms. Oh, you should have done it this way. Why didn't you name your class this way? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to send it. So what I like to do is I create just an outer container class, and it's actually probably not even really necessary. But what I like to do is on my main containers, I create a container class, perhaps a little bit redundant. And it's worth pointing out here that once you create that class for the first time, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new one, or you can clone from an existing style. That I find is most useful if you're migrating from legacy global styles to the new system, or if you rename a class, you can clone the styles from one to the other, which is nice. So I'll just click on start editing. And then what I actually wanted to do real quick, let me attach that block visibility condition to this real quick. So visibility, and then I'm gonna go, let's see, I'm just gonna go user role and then logged in. So that way all this stuff I can edit to my heart's content, and GenPop is not gonna see it. So I'm just gonna pop in test on this. What I wanted to do was just look and see what, wait, did I not do logged in? Block is only visible to logged in users. Why did that not appear? Hello? What the heck? Where did it go? Hashtag live streams already have a problem. Okie dokie. Users, let's choose me. Update. Okay, that works now. I don't know why that logged in one wasn't working, considering I am logged in. That doesn't make any sense. But what I wanted to do was just actually take a look. So we have this GB container class, and then I just stuck on my container class. So that's a little bit redundant, I guess, since every single container gets GB. Actually, it's not redundant, because every single container, aka div, is going to get that GB container class. And that's actually not what I want with that particular format. I want this outer container class on the Taylor. No, it doesn't. I want that outer container class on basically what is going to be my top level containers. So that is working exactly as I want. So I do this just in case, really. I don't think that's actually like that critical. But then what I would generally do, let's get rid of this headline. Then what I do inside of this one is I'm going to attach a class called inner container, and then blank style again. We're going to go to sizing and our max width. Why don't I have a global max width here? Do I not have that set? I wonder. Generate press, layout, container, 1120 pixels. Why is it not showing up here? I should have a little global button. Doesn't matter because it's a class, so it's easy to change. So my max width will be 1120, and then our spacing will be margin left and right auto. So we're not going to see the result of that, but essentially it's just taking our container and just sticking it in the center, and it's making its max width 1120 pixels, which is perfect. So that's going to be kind of the philosophy that I'll use. Now, I do also like to give these a name. You could define the width as a CSS variable in WP Codebox. Overkill. I don't want to. You could also give these blocks a name. Container could be just something like, outer wrapper, and then container block name could just be inner container, inner wrapper, whatever you want. Or like block name, maybe content width, something like that. I like to do this, especially on client sites or where there's going to be somebody coming behind me, because sometimes you know how it is. To build a layout, you need, 5 or 6 containers / divs deep. So it's just really helpful as things start to get more complicated. Then the other thing is I like to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to click on create pattern, and I'm just going to call this inner container. Our category, I think there's a content, there's not a content category. So what I'm going to do is just make this not synced, create this, and I'll update. And then what we can do is in the new generate blocks, there's this patterns button. And so this is the native core WordPress patterns. So it's really easy to connect your patterns that you create, whether they're through GenerateBlocks or core or anything, they're all going to show up here, which is awesome. So now I can just drop that system, that little inner container pattern anywhere I want, and it's going to have both of those two containers with the classes and the max width, which is perfect. What was I going to do now? Let's see. So we're essentially just going to rebuild this. So let's go add a headline, and this one we'll just kind of make a paragraph, and we'll just say, I'm just going to type something like learn Dynamic data from the ground up. And then the styling on that, it's uppercase. We have a global color here and a little bit smaller than our standard one rem. So let's give this, I actually use this exact style in multiple places. The same kind of like eyebrow text. So maybe that's what we'll call it. I hate eyebrow text. That's such a dumb name. What's a better name? Maybe not subheading. Like pre-heading, pre-headline. There you go. Thank you, Jake. I got there. Pre-headline. Yeah, boom, baby. Let's send it. Blank style. Typography is a little bit less than our standard of 1 rem, which is my baseline here. So we're going to go with like 0.875 rem, a little bit smaller. Then text transform is uppercase. Font weight is like 700 or 800, maybe even a little bit higher. Actually, I don't think that font goes up any higher than 700. It does not. Then we're going to go with letter spacing of like 0.125 rem, something like that. And maybe 0.875 is a little bit too small. I think that'll be fine. Then we can go to the text color, and it is this one. I actually don't know what the color, oh, shit, wrong place. I actually don't know what the color contrast is on this, so I probably need to check that. So then the next one is going to be a headline, which is the H1, and that's just the course name, Dynamic Data Made Easy. Look at how many times we have that on the page. Just don't want you guys to forget. This is just the post title, which is why that's up there. So that's good. And then let's take a look at the next one. So we just have this text here. I actually have all the updated text right there. So I'm just going to slap that right in. Then this spacing here, I wanted to point out as well, like the spacing between the headlines and the text is coming from GeneratePress. There's like the typography section, and that is what's dictating the spacing between these. So then we do have a little bit of a grid set up here. So that's kind of a nice opportunity for us to set up a little grid using the new system. So what we're going to do is I am going to add this to a container, and then we'll pop those in there. And then I'm going to add another container. I am going to add a bunch of extra padding to the bottom of this to push the rest of that content away, because it's kind of confusing right now. Let's just go like 10 rem or something, or maybe like, let's go 25 rem, do something stupid and get it off. Yeah, and I did it to the local style, not the block style. Okay. So now we can stick in, I think it was like a video. Is that what it was? Oh, it's a video inside of a little computer icon. I wonder if I can make that the, I wonder how I can do that. That'll be an interesting challenge. Somehow place the video inside of that little laptop thing. I am not going to worry about that for now. I don't think. Let me get the video URL for that real quick. We will pop that in there. Okie dokie. Stick that embed in. And then now what I'm going to do is on this element, I'm going to create a grid class. So in this case, it's going to be grid 2. Then blank style layout will be display of grid. And then our grid template columns, we can just use the built-in one for grid 2 like that. And then I like to use a separate gap class here. So we'll just go something like gap-2. And my convention for this is I go to layout. And unfortunately, you have to redeclare the display type of grid, which is fine. I think in the future, they're going to make it so that you don't have to worry about that. Column gap of 2 and row gap of 2. So that's what the convention here for gap-2 is. It's 2 rem each way. Yeah, John, I think it looks great. I think it will probably present a fair bit of a challenge. So I'll have to like figure out how to get the graphic out of Figma and then wrap it around the image, or I mean the video element. I think it's possible, just not sure off the top of my head. We'll possibly come back to that, but I don't want to get too stuck in the weeds there. Yeah, definitely a good YouTube tutorial for sure. So we now have our first grid, which is sweet. And then next up, inside of this left-hand column, we have these cards here. So this is probably another case where inside this left-hand container, after this paragraph, I'm going to go add another container. And what I'm going to do is add a class of, what do I want to call this? Class naming, you can see, can get kind of kind of a bear. I think I'll just call this like I'll call this like sales card or like feature card. We're gonna call it feature card. Oh no, actually that's we can still use that, but that should be on the individual card. So I'm gonna wrap this in another container. So this one we'll put the block name here of feature card wrapper. And then that's exactly what I'm going to add here is a class name called feature card wrapper. Okay, perfect. Then I'll set this block name to feature card. Perfect. Cool. So let's go ahead and stick some of the content in there. So on the left-hand side, let's see, how are we going to do this? So we have this little like kind of SVG style icon. I think what I did in the past was copy this as an SVG. Then I stuck in a headline element and then change the tag to paragraph. Then we can go to the icon and just paste that in straight from Figma, which is actually kind of cool. And we can go remove text and then icon size, something like 2 rem, something like that. Then what I think I'll do after this is just a paragraph. Okay, easy. Yeah, we can just add in the paragraph. So I'm going to take this text right here and stick this in. We're going to go add after. We'll make sure to put this in a GenerateBlocks headline as a paragraph so that that pops in as we want. Then on our feature card here, let's go with a layout. What do we want to do? Flex, I guess, would be fine. Or maybe we could even go, just as an example, I want to see about like row span. So we're going to go grid template columns 3. Then, excuse me, on this headline, I think I have to add a global style to get to that. I guess I could create a style called span 2. And then I think again, let's see, is it just grid row span 2? I'm pretty sure. Or span 2. I forget what the grid column thing is here. I don't know that well off the top of my head. Grid span call 2. Grid call, you can see this link is purple. Starts at 2. Let's see, I always forget this. Oh, I have to, wait, I did. Grid column, or did I do, oh, there it is. I put it in the wrong spot. Span 2, there we go. See, I thought I knew it. So then this, it actually probably should be more like a, oh look, I need to get to this layout here. Probably should be more like a 4, and then this one should be on the span 2. Let's just remove that and we'll make another one. So span 3. I think it's going to look better when it's layout and then grid call span 3. And then can we center align this icon? Wonder how I do that. I don't think margin auto is going to work here. Oh, it does. Lol. So that looks okay, but that icon is taking up way too much space. Maybe this particular grid setup is overkill. Probably should have just done flex and then kept it simple. I'm trying to rethink this. Yeah, I think that's exactly it, Taylor. I agree. It's a little bit overkill here. Flex grow and then flex width on the number. So let's try something else here. We're going to keep the feature card class, but instead of layout grid, we're just going to set this back to default. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to create a nested selector here. And then let's see, what do I want to do? Trying to think about this before I do it so I don't waste a bunch of time. Oh yeah, good call. Flex on parent. We'll go with feature card wrapper, layout, display, flex. And then these will become flex children. Feature card. What I was thinking I would do is go selector P, what is the thing? First of type. Or maybe it would be inth child 1, isn't that it? I always forget these pseudo selectors. I have no shame in acting like I know stuff. Yeah, okay, that's it. P inth child 1. So then if I go to sizing and width, what would the approximate width be here? Something like 40? 40 pixels? Does that work? Oh yeah, first child and last child's way easier. Let's just do that. Can I edit this? Yeah. So then, is this like an inline? I wonder if it works on the front end. Let me double check, because sometimes that is the case. Yes, it looks like it did. And then it's that P headline is display flex. Yeah, okay. Oh, now I don't want to be on this selector. I want to go back to feature card, layout, and display of flex. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That's what I needed. Got it. All right. And then we can do essentially the same thing. So we can go P last child in this case, since there's only 2. And then that one will just be flex grow 1. And we will set a, let's see. Guess we have to redeclare flex again. Or no, we can go back to our feature card parent layout. We already have flex. So our flex direction of row means we need a column gap, like 1 rem. Perfect. Sweet. Okay. And then now on this feature card, we also had some padding, and then we also had a drop shadow. Okay, so 5, 10, 5, and black at 10%. So do I want to add it straight to this style or add it as a shadow class? I think that exact shadow is used in tons of places all over my site. So I'm going to create a shadow primary global style, effects, box shadow. And then for those of you that use GenerateBlocks, did you know that you have this add via paste? So you can just dump the CSS box shadow straight in. How cool is that? Can you copy it out of Figma? I guess not. Sad face. Yeah, dude. So if you have like a multi-layer box shadow, like what is that one, this here? Like if you can just take this whole thing, like this entire box shadow, if that's what you wanted, drop that beast in there, and then boom, look at that. It just pre-fills all the box shadows for you. How cool is that? I accidentally stumbled across that while recording a video, and I was like, ooh, that's sick. Yeah, really cool. So that shadow is obviously overkill, so I'll just delete all these. And if I use the conventional system, I think it was X and Y was 4, and then blur 10, spread 0. 4, and then spread 0, and then the black was 10%. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know. If we could just straight drop the whole CSS in there, that would be sick. I bet you they could do that. That definitely seems doable. Border radius here of 10. I think I'm going to go with 8 because that's what I've used elsewhere across my site. So border radius of 8 pixels. And then the padding, I'm assuming, is going to be something like 1 rem on all sides. Let's see. Wrong. 1.5. We're going to do 1.5 top and bottom and 2 left and right, I think. We'll just see how that looks. Actually, we're going to go 1 rem, 2 rem, 2 rem, and then 1 rem. Something like that. All right, and then when we're not scrunched in the editor, let's go see what this looks like on the front end. Looks good, except there is some default paragraph margin bottom here, and that's why that's spaced out a little bit. Probably need to increase that gap a little bit too. It's a little bit too scrunched. Let's see. I should just do the little like fix, which is just like P last of type. I think that works. Trying to think about how I want to define that. In WP Codebox, let's see. I thought I had already done that. So much CSS I'm not even using in here anymore. I guess not. I'm gonna go steal it from Kyle. What's his website called? Generate Tweaks, isn't that it? What's the paragraph one? Last paragraph, bottom margin. Here we go. Thank you, Kyle. Boom, baby. Okay, so now that'll fix it. So that'll just take any of the paragraphs that are the last of their. Oh, that's not gonna work in this case because. Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay, it's just the alignment here. Right? Width 40. Is there margin bottom? Yeah, since it's not the last of type. Okay. Well, that's not too bad to fix. We could just go back to our, oh, not shadow primary. We can go back to our feature card. P first child, and then spacing, margin bottom 0. And then I think I want to go back to the main selector. We had our grid, our flex direction row. Align items will be center. And then I think I want to increase the column gap a bit. Maybe like 1.5. That looks pretty good. Cool. So now, since we have that, I can just duplicate this a couple of times. Oh, yeah, not this. Feature card wrapper, layout. We actually don't even need that. Well, it's not going to switch back, I guess. Flex direction of column. And then let's see, row gap. What do we want here? 10. Nah, we're going to do 1 rem. That looks good. I think I want a little bit of a border on this too. Shout out Global Styles, making this easy. You can apply it once to all of them. Which global color do I have that would look good? Maybe like this one, but decrease the transparency. Cool. All right. Taylor, do you know if CSS variable support is being added? It's blocked by the little heart. What does that say? To allow to set custom CSS vars in the UI? I don't know. Would be a good feature request though. And then of course, so I added that border to this first card, and since it's attached to the global style, it applied to the second card as well. Pretty good. So then, because these are essentially like HTML elements, I do need to go swap those. There's probably some convoluted way to swap these out with code, but it's going to take me about 30 seconds to do all of these manually, whereas I could spend 25 minutes trying to develop something that incrementally dynamically counts these, but that ain't me. No way. Okie dokie. And then number 5, copy SVG. Number 5. Okay, so now I'm just going to copy in the rest of this text here. Like that. Dynamic tags. Archive templates. Yeah, I guess I could use text tailor. But I don't want to. Because that would be too easy. Perfect. Okay, so that's coming along. We're missing some padding up top here. What is the, oh, and the background color. So 80, this is why I like to use this inner container class, because I'm going to select that. Spacing on the top will be 4 rem, and bottom rem will be 4 rem of padding. Then on the desktop size, I don't use left and right padding, but on the tablet size, you're definitely going to want to do that. So something like 1.5 left and right. And then on mobile, I like to bring that down to 1 rem and 1 rem. And in this case, we need to modify our grid. So I think by the time we reach tablet size, tablet is kind of scrunched. Guess we could just go to layout of flex call here. Or actually, that's not going to work. Grid template column. Oh yeah, I forgot you can set custom breakpoints too. Yeah. Let's see. Why is it not switching? What am I doing wrong? Guess I'll just go 1FR like that. That'll do the trick. Is there a reverse property in grid like there is in flex? Grid reverse CSS. Order of 1 and -1. Is that really how you have to do it? That doesn't seem right. Not that big of a deal. I actually probably don't want the image, I mean the video to come before anyway. So let's just leave it. Okie dokie. So back up to our desktop size. Let's go again, take a look at the front end. That's looking pretty good. Much better than it did before. Don't think we need that card here. Oh, actually, I'm going to just steal this whole container. I do want this. I forgot I updated it. So after the video, we're just going to stick that in. Hashtag block editor things. I can just take this entire container, and then I just simply Control-C on my keyboard. Control-C, went back up here, pop that in. Easy, easy peasy. So that looks okay, but I think this font size is too big. It is an H2. It's actually not a GenerateBlocks H2, so I'm going to fix that. This one's H1, right? Yep, H2. Because that's going to come, you know, if you see it on the desktop size, it'll be side by side, and then on mobile, it'll come later, so that's perfect. I think I want to do... honestly, I might just leave this. I was thinking I wanted that headline to be a little bit smaller. Let's see it. It does kind of demand your attention. Maybe I don't want that there. We'll leave it for now. not super worried about that. Okay, so that is essentially like the kind of hero / above the fold portion of this done. So let's do a little bit more here. So we had some text after this, and we'll need to add some spacing in just a moment, which we will do. Oh, I forgot I had all these headlines. I rewrote this copy. I wonder if I want this in a different section now. Maybe I'm going to do a new container and move this down to that container. Maybe even make the widths wider than a 50-50 grid. The world is our oyster. See, this is where my design brain like falls apart. I'm like, oh, I just struggle to envision stuff like nuts and bolts kind of things. Like, give me a design and I can pretty much do it. But stuff like this where you sort of have to like design on the fly, I'm so bad at this kind of stuff. Oh, also, I think I want to set... No, maybe not. I was going to say maybe I want to set like a minimum height on these so these match, but it's mainly just down to the fact that these are 3 lines and the other ones are 2. So perhaps I just need to be more verbose here and add more so that they fit. Let's go ahead and on this container, we're just going to... Let's just add in a new one, and this is where that pattern is going to come in handy. So I'm going to go /inner container, and that's going to bring in my pattern here, which is perfecto. And then what was the text that I had? Course objectives. So I think what I'll do, I might end up setting a max width on this. So I think I'm going to wrap this in a container, course objectives, and then just copy all this text again. So what I was going to do is on this container here, max width of like, I don't know, 768 maybe? That one's 570. I guess it just depends on how I want to lay out course objectives. I think that's going to be too wide. I'm going to just take a look. Yeah, let's see what 768 looks like. I think that'll, oop, didn't actually type it in. There we go. Max width 768. And then, yeah, I probably should do like kind of an alternating section here. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to, let's just duplicate this. Then is this course right for you? And we'll just copy this whole list block. We will delete this, paste that in. And then there's a buy button. Again, I can just Control C, Control V to buy or to copy the block. There we go. And this is actually using a legacy global style. I could show how to migrate them, although that's a video coming on the Generate channel as well. But I'll just rock. Actually, how do I want to do this? I think I'll just rock that for now. Oh, and there's a bit of a spacing issue here. And then also this ridiculous quantity of padding that I put on that other container here. Where did I put it? Is it on this outer wrapper? Yeah, okay, there it is. 25 rem, gone. Okay, so then how do I want to spread these two? That's what she said. I wonder why it looks... Like it has so much extra space on the back end. I wonder if that's just the fact that that little like plus thing ends up right here. I guess I could just always do gap here of gap 2 since I already have that class. Does this redefine it as grid? It does. I guess that's okay. That'll be fine. We can make do with that. That's cool. Okay, so then in this case, what I was picturing was one of those left-right alternating sections, so I'll have some sort of graphic on the left and right side. Maybe like some screenshots or something. I don't have those right now, so I don't want to get hung up on that. Also, I need to delete this erroneous extra paragraph. Clean that up a bit. I think it'll be fine. It looked terrible before. This is much better than what it looked like. I guess that's exactly the same as it was. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, let's rename these. So this one I'll just call like hero, and then we'll call this more info. Start to make some sense out of these containers here. Then what's up next? Okay, cool. A new background section here. I like that. Add some life to the page. Add after, again, we're gonna go with our pattern of inner container. Then on this, we're going to just rename this block to, oh, it's duplicating all the visibility conditions. I guess I have to go delete those. That's okay, no big deal. Right for you is what we'll call this. Is this, wait, is that what it says? I thought we already did that. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this. So I start cleaning this up a bit. And then how many bullets do we have? 4, 5, 6. So then I'll just go grid or container, and then grid of 2, and then a gap of 2. Cool. So then we'll stick a container on the left, and I'll duplicate it so that we have one on the right. Do a list over here. And then where's me text? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is there 5 there and 6 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I rewrote them and lost one. I guess, that works, I guess. That works. Okay. More copy pasting. And then again, list on this side. That's going to look fine. Alrighty. So then this headline was centered. And then there was a background. Do I want to do that? I wonder if I'd want a global style for that. I think I do, because this this background style is used in quite a few different places. So that's something I don't know what I would call. It's technically a gradient. Let's try that. I actually haven't used the new the new gradient system in global styles. So gradient background, BKG, effects. No, I guess it's a background technically. So image, gradient. And then what's the setup here? These colors are like the left one being that blue is almost certainly not accessible. Where is the color coming from? What's the hell? Oh, it's an image. Mother of pearl. I guess I'll just use my global colors and we'll make something out of this because I know that those are the global colors. It's the light blue on one side and then purple on the other. So let's make the angle, was it like, no, like 140. And then we're going to make the stop on this one like 20 and this one like 50. I want it to be like mostly purple with like a shimmer of the blue up in the upper left. Something like that. Looks a little bit too harsh on the stop there. What is radial? I never use radial. Maybe like that, but that purple like hard line I don't like. Oh, I can add another one. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. This one. And then can I make this one? Yeah, we'll like fade it into the darker and then the purple like that. So then this one will go from 18 to maybe like 35. No, that doesn't look good either. Damn. I think I scrapped the gradients in other places and instead just went with a straight purple because that one like actually looked good on all the text. The blend just doesn't look that good. Just do a hard line. I wonder, just see. I'm curious what this looks like on the front end. I actually don't really mind that hard line in a case like this, but I don't really have any other design elements that kind of jive with that. Like on the Generate Made Easy page, what is this? Oh, that one's that stupid pattern background. I think I'm just going to... Oh, that one's at 0%. I think I'm just going to scrap this idea. And instead, we're going to just set a background color like that. And then, oh, I'm doing this on my gradient background global style. So let's clear this. And then I wish I had that as a real color name. I think this purple color is like something stupid, like an actual name like violet or whatever. What do I want to call this? I'm just going to call this secondary because I think that purple is technically my secondary. I mean, I don't even really need a class for that though. That seems stupid. Whatever, we're just going to rock it. Purple, and then our typography in this case is going to be white. And through the power of CSS inheritance, Viola. Why didn't it update? Oh, there we go. I don't know. I kind of like that little slice of color that was up there in the top. Also, that just doesn't quite look as contrasty as I thought it would. Maybe it's just the spacing between these LIs. That's fine. Okay, so this is going to be the next portion. Once again, my pattern, inner container. And in this case, we have kind of that dark background. So is that all white? Yeah, okay, so we can kind of do the same thing. I'm pretty sure that one I called my primary. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So our background is going to be that dark color, and then our typography is going to be white. And then when we add some stuff in here, I think I'm going to end up with a 2 wide grid again. Grid 2, gap 2. This headline says, wait, where's my, oh, okay, here we go. Still not sure. No, I don't want it to be that small. Paste without formatting. There we go. The reason why is because I copied a core block and was pasting it on top of an empty generate block, and it swapped back to core. I'm going to add in a headline here that's going to be paragraph, and then what did I call that other class? Sub. Wasn't it sub? Oh, pre-headline. There we go. Get a free sample lesson. Oh, I added my grid and gap classes to the wrong container. Grid 2, gap 2, and then sign up below to receive a free sample lesson delivered straight to your inbox. And then it was a gravity form. I think it's called dynamic data pre-prod sign up. Don't need form title, don't need form description. That might be something I haven't done yet, which would be cool, is to style a gravity form with the GenerateBlocks system. That'd be pretty dope. And then what else did I do here? Maybe I'll put the form on the right side since I did do a grid here. / container. Then we'll just drag our form into that container. Sign up to receive a free sample lesson delivered straight to your inbox. How does this look? Definitely problematic. Okay, perfect. We can use GenerateBlocks to style gravity forms here because obviously we need this text to actually be legible, and then this button is way too big. So I don't recall, I think this is coming from my CSS in WP Codebox. I think this is manually styled. Let's see. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. It's kind of annoying that you can see it in the back end, but not the front end. So I guess I'll go, what do I want to do here? Primary background, I have that class here. So I could go primary background more, create my own selector here. I don't recall what these labels are. I guess they're just an HTML. Go away, you stupid pop-up. Could use label, which would be nice and simple. And then the text color just be white. And then what is the required badge? It's a span with G field required and color. Okay. Can we just apply that straight to the div itself? I doubt that's going to work. Let me refresh this. Can I just go label? Wait, no. I need the actual class here. G field input type text, G field width half, G field contains. No, okay, so we're gonna have to go label. Let's try it. So we'll use our selector here of label, and then I think I can do the same selector again. Since I don't want to do it twice, I think I can just go primary-bkg space, what was that, span. And then I could just do .g field required, right? G field required text. Which one is it actually on? G form wrapper, gravity theme, G field required. We'll do this. Okay, let's try this. I think that's going to work because you can add commas in those selectors. So, okay, well, perfect. We can see it right there in the back end. So that should have done the trick. So update, refresh. No, I missed the label. So I got to go G field label. It worked for the required badge though. Don't hate, Taylor. You love my selector. I know you do. So label and then label dot G field label, right? Yes. Update, 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 save. Why are you not working? Did I screw up the selector? Label dot G field label. Guess I got to go that whole thing. This is a little bit silly to do, I will admit. Oh, yeah. Private background G-form label, G-form label. I think that's not going to work. I think I screwed that up. Oh, no, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So, yeah, look at that. You can use GenerateBlocks to style anything. You can just add your own selectors. Really cool. Then the other thing is I wanted to decrease the size of this button. So I think my CSS and WP code box is going to conflict here because it will probably be more specific. So I'd have to spend a little bit more time architecting that. Like when I have different forms of these buttons in different places, like this one is just too small. I mean too big. I'd want it to be much smaller, de-emphasized quite a bit. The other ones are going to be more specific because they're like, actually, maybe they're not. Where is my G-form stuff? Gravity form CSS. No, we could definitely override it because I didn't do anything super specific. It's just G-form wrapper, and since I have that, the primary background class above the G-form wrapper, it would work. So that could definitely work. I mean, let's just try it. I'll just add a new selector here. Yes, Taylor, you're totally right. Definitely a starter site setup situation. So we could just go G-form footer dot G-form footer and then input type equals submit. G-form button. I think I can just use the class of G-form button here. I'm pretty sure. G-form footer dot G-form button. Create. Let's go just a test. I'm going to go 0.5 rem. And then typography, let's go white. And then just to see if this is working, background color, let's change it to something else. Yes. Yes, it is. I want it to be purple. And then border, all sides, 1 pixel, purple. Border radius, 8. And then that is working. So let's go left and right of 1 rem. What is our typography here? Font size is going to be the default. What's up, Jason? Welcome in. Oh no, not 1 rem. Let's go text transform uppercase maybe. I think I want that button to just be whiter, honestly. It looks pretty damn ugly. And then my selector wasn't specific enough. On the front end, it blew up. Oh, it briefly, look, you can see it flash purple briefly. And then the other CSS must come later in codebox, WP codebox, so it gets overwritten. Well, I mean, there you go. So it is definitely possible to style anything you want, including gravity forms and, you know, whatever else. I'm going to leave that. I think I'm happy with that for now, even though it looks wrong. The button being a little bit too big in my opinion, but that'll work. So then let's go with this testimonial section. This is like a little bit of like a, what is this? I don't know, bento grid kind of deal. So let's see if we can build this. Oh, I want to rename this while we're still here. Sample lesson is what we'll call this container. And actually, I think I can pretty much go ahead and delete this entire thing. Oh, you know what? I was talking about wanting to put an image on the right here. I do have an image that I can use. Oops, no, don't do that. Let me take this button and we're gonna put it after our grid here. Let's go add after, put that button. And then I want this particular button to be centered. Can I just do that with my container? I think this is a bad idea. Yep, that is not what I wanted to do. I guess I could just go margin. I could create a utility class for margin auto. Create blank spacing, margin left auto, margin right auto. And then that is not going to work for what reason? Is that because this container is not set to a display property? If I just set display flex on this, and then let's go flex dir call. Yeah, okay, it's because the display wasn't set. Can I just do inline flex? No. Block. What about if I set a flex property on that? This one doesn't matter. Oh, I'm on the margin class. Let's go. Flex direction column, and then, yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, I'm just gonna send it. Not that big of a deal. So then I can get rid of this whole thing now. That got me distracted because what I actually wanted to do was come in here and let's go, in this case, we're gonna try a grid. Is that the only grid class I have? I guess I'm gonna change this to grid 3. Layout, display, grid template columns 3. And then now we have 2 grid classes on there. Oh, wait, no, that one's gap. Okay, perfect. So then after this, I'm gonna add another container, stick in an image, and then let's see here, media library. That's the one I want. Perfecto. So then we don't really need the max width on this one anymore. What I want to do is on this, Donald, what is the widget code that adds an icon to indicate if it's an external link? It is a plugin. I forget what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's by Equalize Digital. It is accessibility new window warnings. There's probably something I can do to make it so that the icon is aligned and like spaced and whatever, but I just haven't bothered. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so then what I wanted to do here was span 2, and then that's exactly it. That is what I wanted. Just something like that. Something that adds a little bit more life into that section. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better than it did before. This is great. And then I now have this, that. This section's good. Course objectives is good. Is this right for you? Still not sure. So I can delete all of that except the testimonials. And then I can quickly go through and undo these. If I just uncheck user role, does it just go away? Right for you. User role, sample lesson. Visibility, user role, undoing all that. Let me double check. Incognito, yes. Cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna go delete. What is this container here? Yep, okay, so deleting all of that because that's now redundant. So then this one is just the old one, which is testimonial wrapper. Testimonial wrapper old, let's call that so we know. So then again, our inner container pattern. And then this one we will rename quickly to testimonials, just so we know. So what I'm thinking we can do here, designers love these kinds of grids. What I'm thinking we can do here is, what would this be if we slice this up? 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is just a 1. These are all 2. And then they also row span. Or call span, whichever one makes it go tall. Let's try it. I don't know if this is possible, but I actually wanted to make a video on this anyway. So this is a good opportunity for me to learn this. So we're going to add a container, which is going to act as the wrapper for those headlines. So headline, paragraph, and then the global style there was pre-headline. Yeah, so then testimonials, read the reviews. I don't know about that text, but whatever. I'm not going to get hung up on that. Well, staying, what people are saying. Okay, and then testimonials. Maybe this one would actually be the H2. Because testimonials makes more sense as the H2. But we need like a lookalike. If I switch this to H2, the pre-headline class still takes effect. So I actually like that. We're going to go paragraph here, and then we're going to say H2 looks like, or looks like H2. I don't like that exactly. I don't want to give that some more thought. Looks like H2. Let's send it. And then I don't know what my typography styles there were. Probably like 3 rem, and then font weight of 700. Is that right? Guess it doesn't tell me. Oh, it's 48. Yeah, okay. And then yeah, okay. Let's decrease that a little bit. 2.5. Perfect. Okay. So now this is going to be one of our containers inside of this grid. So let's add a grid 4. Layout, display, grid template columns 4. So that scrunches this first one nicely, which is exactly what I want. So then we're going to add another container. And this one should span to, I wonder if I can just put a blank div there. I think that'll work. Might not be the right way to do it, but that's what I'm going to do here. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is working. Okay. So then this one will be span 2. And then this has a little quote icon. So we'll pop in a headline, set it to a paragraph, go down to the icon, remove text, size, we'll just set that to 2 EM. And then this is just their testimonial text. And then we have their image. I'll just copy this. And then their information is off to the left. Oh, they put in a paragraph with an image? What the hell? That's not what it should have done. Copied image to clipboard. Now, there we go. Okie dokie. So then, I think what I'll do, where did I use this same setup before? It was right here. So what did I do here? Feature card. That's a stupid name for it, I guess. Let's see what happens if I wrap this in a container and slap feature card on this. It just works. Of course it does. Oh, I meant to grab his name and title. That works perfectly. Okay, and then here is another case where we have that shadow and a border. So I'll just take this feature card and I'm just going to go shadow primary, which just works. Did I accidentally apply padding to the shadow? I sure did. I guess I meant to do that to the feature card. So let's get rid of this on the shadow. So then it was 1 rem, 2 rem, 2 rem, and 1 rem. I guess feature card actually makes sense because if you think about it, you're featuring a testimonial or you're featuring a feature. Let's go with that. That's definitely what I intended. Where are we at here? Okay, so, oh, but actually I don't want it on this specific container. I want it on the outer one. Right? Yeah. I just put the feature card on the wrong spot. Wait, no. Okay, sorry. I'm getting myself confused here. I want feature card. And then, do I want that again? No. Wait, why did it change my layout? Okay. Because I had set the flex. Let's just create a new one. We're going to call this testimonial card. So this one is very similar. We don't need to worry about any of the spacing or flex, or I mean the flex direction properties. This is going to be basically 2 rem all sides plus our shadow. So spacing, I guess I could just do a padding card or a padding class here instead of this testimonial card. Either way it'll work. And then our shadow. And it looks to have worked, I think. Okay, and then here, what's our gap between these? Basically 1 rem. We're going to go gap of 1. Layout, display, grid, column gap 1 rem, row gap 1 rem. Update. And then those testimonial cards need a border. Too light. I think last time I just went like this. That looks okay. Good enough for me. So now how are we going to align this on the grid? Let's just duplicate this one. And then let's take a look on the front end. So it's following the grid convention that we set, but we actually want it to have a specific number of rows that it spans. Grid column span 2, grid row span 2. Yes. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted. So I guess I need to reconsider the span here, because we don't always want it to span 2 rows, but 2 columns in this case. Maybe I should have done col span 2 and row span 2. I'll just go ahead and add a row span 2. Span 2 row. What do I want as my convention there? I think I want span 2 row, because the other ones are span class. Say span a bunch of times and it starts to feel really weird. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is sick. I didn't expect this to work as easily as it just did. Okie dokie. So then this is Mr. Dave. Mr. Dave Foy. Oh, I didn't want to lose the styling there. Dave Foy. Design, build web, and build with bricks. I don't want the border on this. Did I set a feature card border? Is that why? Yeah. It's okay for now. Not super worried about that. I wonder... why is it stretching? Why is it stretching? What happens if I duplicate? That's not intended behavior, right? Three. 1, 2, 3. This one's harder than it looks. Is there a space between those? Maybe it's span like 1, 2, 3. Just for the sake of example, I want to check this one. Oh no, that makes it even worse. So that one's span 1. What if I just remove that? What about this one? It's actually kind of annoying that I can't get to those options without setting another class. Need to change the rows to more? What do you mean? Oh, this grid template rows. Right. Something like this. I don't actually know the grid template rows thing. Let me go to that CSS grid generator. So if we were going to do like we want columns 4, I think, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3. Like 1, 2, 3. How do I make that stretch? There we go. So then like this. Div 4. And then the last one is right here. Div 4, div 5. Okay. Repeat 4, 1FR. Grid area. Oh, is that what I need? Is a grid area? That definitely will require a little bit more tweaking. Okay, so grid template columns is repeat 4. Okay, and then grid area. How do you set the grid area on these? I guess, do you have to create a shit ton of classes here? I'm just going to try a grid area just as an example. Okay, you shouldn't need it. Then flex grid column, grid row. You can just use grid column and row. I'm curious, Taylor. I don't know this well enough to get this situated. This is going to be a really good tutorial once I figure this out in a way that makes sense, but cowboy coding this. It started to work until I added the second and third testimonials. This is 1, 2 for column. Wait, where am I? Back to my grid class. Layout. Grid column 1, 2. Maybe it's not on this. Maybe it's on the actual thing itself. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So what am I going to do here? Wait, span to row. Might be conflicting because of these various classes that I have. Oh, that works. So then span to row. That did not work. Not in the way that I wanted it to. Do I need to go back to this one and say like a span 1? Oh wait, I put the wrong thing in there. So div 2. Let's try this. Layout. I know Kyle's probably watching this back screaming in his monitor right now. You're an idiot. You're a dumbass. This is proving quite a bit more tricky than I thought it would be, I've got to say. Wait, what happened to this? Is it because I put it on the span 2 row? Yeah, it is. It's all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Gonna have to play with that a bit. Let me just put in this last testimonial so I don't forget. Open, and then Mr. Adam. Okay. Boom, baby. There we go. That testimonial section looks wonked out, and there's also an insane amount of padding there. So testimonial wrapper old, we don't need this anymore, so we can delete this junk. And then this lesson preview, that will be when somebody fills out the preview thing. So we can leave that alone. Where is this unbelievable amount of padding coming from? Block styles? Let us inspect and find out. Oh, it's because I did the that grid class, and it has a ton of rows. This is definitely going to take a little bit more work to get that how I want. I want this to be pushed up there. Yeah, you could, Donald, you could make it work with Flex. It's just a bit more, in my opinion, I think it's a bit more clunky. Grid can do this kind of thing when you're not a clown like me. You can do this kind of thing pretty easily with the bent, well, not easily, but it's doable. With a bento style grid, just going to take a little bit more work. Mark says debbing on a live site while streaming. Yeah, man. The only way to do it. Okay, so I am really happy with how this has turned out. It's so much better than it was before. How long have we been streaming? What is this? Hour and a half. Okay, all right. Not as long as some of my other streams. 3-4 hours in the past, but you know, definitely better than nothing. This obviously looks way, 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 way better than it did before. Let's check on mobile real quick. Make sure I didn't make any glaring errors here. Got to fix that course objectives one. The LIs on mobile look a little wonky, especially with the space. Oh, testimonial section looks jacked up. So I did a grid 4 here. So then here we need to drop it down to layout, grid 2. And there's probably something to do with my spans and such that it doesn't like. Why have you done this to me? Grid column span 2, it should just work. Oh man, I'm just gonna delete all of this for now. It's clearly not working, and it's causing me more strife than it's worth at the moment. I know Taylor is gonna be like, no, 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 no. What are my 4 divs here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We're just gonna do a gap in this case of like a gap 2. All right, that'll work for me for now. That way, at least it's functional. Ooh, their photos are horribly jacked up. Why are they stretching in that case? I guess the feature card probably needs to change and stack vertically in that case. Right? Once it gets really small. Yeah, okay. What was the layout that we did? Feature card layout, flex row. Yeah, so why didn't it switch? Because it's flex column now. What? I feel like I'm back using Octane again, where it's like, what the hell? Oh, okay, it did work. Just, for some reason it didn't switch in the back end. Okay, that's really strange. Align items is set to flex start. So why is this not working? There shouldn't be that extra space. Oh, I guess there's probably a bunch of extra padding. So I'm going to crank down that padding on this. So we're going to go like 0.5 rem. It's getting laggy. Holy crap. Ooh, no, that's disgusting. 1. And then what was the gap? Layout. Oh, on desktop. Column gap was 1.5. Row gap 1.5. We're going to set that again. There we go. That is what I want. Perfecto. Alrighty. So then the only other thing, you nearly got it. Okay, cool. I am ready. And then we're going to end the stream after that, once we get this grid situation situated. This little tool is cool. Obviously, I can kind of like map out the grid that I'm after, but need a little bit more tweaking, a little bit more tweaky. If you're still here, thanks for hanging out this whole time. If you haven't yet dropped a like on the stream, I'd very much appreciate that. Oh, you know, just waiting for Taylor. Oh, let's see. Taylor, no pressure, dude. Where you at, bruh? Maybe you're messaging me and I haven't seen it. Nearly got it. 1 minute, he says. Okay. Also, by the way, if you're here and you weren't here at the beginning, I wanted to call out my newsletter. You can sign up in the bottom of my website in the footer. It goes out every Wednesday morning. I just share cool WordPress stuff. Would love to have you on the list. I am happy with how this has turned out. This looks very me, very form over, wait, yeah, function over form, practicality. Grid 3, and then this one needs to drop here, I think, to grid of 2. And then this one, span 2 on mobile, will go, wait, what was it? Grid column, span 2, grid column, span 1. Gosh, this is, I struggle so much with this grid shit. I clearly have a lot to learn here. Do I have to redeclare it? Is that the problem? Ah, whatever. Okay, Taylor is linking me a demo. Okay, let's inspect this and see. All right, so we've got an outer container, testimonials wrapper, Grid template columns 4, as we can see. And then rows repeat 6. And then have you done anything? Yeah, okay, so you set a display grid span of 2. Call span, row span 2. Call span, row span 2. So do you have to add 2, 1? Testimonials title. It's definitely like convoluted the way that this has to be done, because it's like testimonial 1 class and 2. I mean, I guess that's not that bad if you really want to get a layout like this. What happens if you duplicate this element? No, not that. Duplicate. So can you just then keep duplicating and it just works? Yeah, okay, that's what I was curious about. It's like, what it starts stretching, so I guess you have to alternate. Which ones did I add here? That one. So then I would need to duplicate this one, right? And then now that one goes down here. And then the trend continues. Okay, so you have to alternate it back and forth. I see what you did. 1, 2, 1, 2. And what's the difference? So call span of 2 and row span of 2. Is there any difference? Am I just making that up? It definitely works though. Okay, so I'll figure that out and I'll make a proper tutorial on that, because that's pretty sweet. And that'll be something that definitely is very useful. So clearly it's possible when you don't have 2-hour stream brain, and I have the opportunity to kind of bash my head against the keyboard a little bit to get this working. Also, like, I need to figure out why these little situations where I'm doing these call spans end up giving me a lot of hassle whenever I'm on these smaller breakpoints. Why is the local style not clearing? I don't even know what's in there. Like in this case, I just want it to collapse. I'm just going to do that. I don't really care. This is one spot on one page. I just want it to work on mobile. I kind of feel like that should be before it. Yeah, everything works. Okay, that's good. That's good. Taylor says he made it better. Let's see, sir. Oh, for some reason I used to be able to, like, there we go, mouse wheel hold and it would go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see, like, this is cool, but it's all manual, right? Like this wouldn't be dynamic. There's got to be a way, because we can use nested selectors, to make a situation like this that would be automatic. Because it would be like testimonial wrapper space, div second child or whatever. And then that selector would allow you to set the column and row span to get the layout that you want for like a magazine style layout. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, I think. That would be the way that I would want to do it, because I'd kind of have like an idea of how the grid should look and lay out. And then you'd be able to just kind of slap your content in and it would just work. So he says, update it again. What'd you do this time, sir? Testimonial 1 will repeat. Duplicate. Yeah, okay, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, so if you just knew that that was going to be the length, what about if you had a bunch of different cards with different content lengths? See, that's kind of where it slightly falls apart. Like if one testimonial is really long, like in my case, we've got 2 really long ones and then 1 short one. Well, anyway, I think that is where we are going to wrap up for today. I hope you enjoyed that look at GenerateBlocks. Good for me to really get my hands on it and, do it live, figure out some of the areas that I have difficulty with, which of course opens up other tutorial ideas. If you made it this long, if you've been here for coming up on 2 hours, you're awesome. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed being back live with me. I certainly did. It's always fun. And until next time, make sure to sign up for the newsletter so I see you next Wednesday morning, bright and early. And until then, bye-bye. See you later.